Hi, I'm Gill Moakes. I'm a business coach and mentor and the host of the Heads Together podcast. I help ambitious, freedom-seeking entrepreneurs step into who they really are and create wildly profitable businesses doing what they love. ReWild Your Business on the Stone Fruit Roll-Up is a 6-part documentary. It's a reality TV series for business, if you like, where I'll be taking my business bestie, Rebecca Gunter, the founder of Stone Fruit, on a journey to define success on her terms.
Hi, everybody. I'm Rebecca Gunter, Peach-in-Chief at Stone Fruit. I'm a brand strategist, developer, and copywriter.
I want her to start regenerating time and energy for herself. And we're going to do that by rewilding her business, by cutting away what doesn't belong to allow what does to thrive.
The biggest challenge in my business right now is how freaking overcomplicated it is. No one knows what to buy from me, and I need someone to help me clear the forest and help me replant the seeds that actually have a functionality and a purpose.
So over the next 6 weeks, we'll be deconstructing the idea that there's only one right way to do business. And my goal is that by the end of the series, Rebecca will be crystal clear and completely confident, owning her own unique ecosystem. Hi, I'm Gill Moakes. Hey everyone, I am Gill Moakes. So good I said it twice, apparently. I hope you're all well. Welcome back to the third installment of ReWilding Stone Fruit. So quick recap, if you haven't watched all of them. In episode 1, Rebecca and I really kind of fleshed out her vision for Stone Fruit, because her business was feeling really complicated, and whenever that happens, it's really great to just go back to what was the vision for the business I wanted to create in the first place. So that's what we focused on in the first episode. In week 2, we started talking about goals. So this was last week. We started talking about goals, and actually we're going to pick up there today in a moment. But we started talking about financial goals. We started talking about reputational goals and lifestyle goals for Rebecca, because once you have your vision in place, you need to understand what goals you need to be working towards that are going to bring that vision to life. So where we left last week was Rebecca had fleshed out. She had a good idea of her financial goals. That wasn't a problem for her. Working on her financial goals was pretty easy. And her lifestyle goals came pretty easy to her too. Where she was really struggling a bit was with her reputational goals. What did she want to be really known for? What was important to her in that arena. So in a moment, we're going to pick up there and close that loop before we move into the subject for this week's episode, which is positioning. Now, I feel like if ever I was going to have imposter syndrome, it is right now, right here, because Rebecca has taught me everything I know about positioning. I had no clue what positioning was when I first met Rebecca, and I certainly had no clue what it can do for you as a business owner. I was about to say for your business, but it starts before that, because Rebecca urges us to position ourselves first, then our business, and then even our offers, and then even our marketing strategies. So, for example, if I just take my business for a moment, when I started working with Rebecca in the beginning, she positioned me as an entrepreneur. And then we've positioned more than one business. I've owned more than one business since I've known Rebecca. We positioned all of those businesses. And then we have absolutely positioned my private coaching offers. We've positioned I had a membership program. We positioned that. We positioned everything. Even my own podcast. heads together. That is positioned. So I'm saying positioning a lot, which I haven't been letting Rebecca do in the previous episodes. Go back and check them out because it's quite funny, because I have to like buzz her when she's saying it, because we were talking about how it could be that that phrase isn't necessarily resonating because, like me, people don't always understand what it is and the importance of it. So that's what we're going to dive into today. We are going to position. We may position Rebecca and stone fruit today, but certainly we're going to be looking at stone fruit and positioning that, the business. So let's see how that unfolds in real time. That's the beauty of a live show, right? But first, I want to welcome Rebecca onto her own show so she can fill us in on what's been going on since last week. Hi.
Hi, Jilly.
Welcome to Stone Fruit.
Oh my God. It is such an honor to be here.
You're
I never thought I'd be on the roll-up stage.
Love it. Be careful or I might start trotting out some of my American accents like I was just now.
All I'm trying to do right now is bait you into doing your American accent.
I know.
So you've let me hanging for the last year doing
insulting. It's just so insulting to the rest of America that, you know, you tolerate me doing it, but it would be just way too insulting. Oh, it will probably happen. You'll trick me into it, but
if we're lucky, I'll trick you into it. It's not insulting to me. I think it's endearing, and as long as you've endured my terrible British impression.
Oh, that is just the best. I love it.
English accent then, where I go up like 700 octaves and say then and in it all the time.
In it.
I deserve it. I deserve accent being put upon me. So thank you. Jilly, I know this is your show, and it is really wild to be. It's really wild to be rewilded. It's wild to have the kind of lens of like that, you know, that business in the raw lens kind of flipped around and on me.
Yeah.
But before we do that, I have to crawl up your butt intensely. And that is because...
Well, I'm never going to refuse that, obviously.
I am intensely crawling up your butt.
Thank you.
Oh my God, you're so welcome. Because this morning when I was driving on my morning schlep to take my kid to school, I had the experience of listening to this episode of your podcast in preparation for our work today. And I'm going to put the link. The link is absolutely in the show notes already. Girl, you have come so far. I clutched the pearls several times during this episode. It really resonated with me. Not just the content, but again, it's really like having this incredible one-on-one. I know it's a parasocial relationship when you don't know the person. So in some way, it's kind of a funhouse mirror because I do actually know you. You are my coach, and I have a parasocial relationship with Gill Moakes, the host of Heads Together, the podcast. And it's just your style is so powerful, and I just want to encourage you to keep going. And you had to be kind of, you know, you had to start off on day one and just start talking to the light in the camera or the, you know, the light on the microphone for a long time. And God damn, this is a good episode. So everyone out there, go out there and listen to this deep work that's better done alone, not only to prepare you for the work that we're doing today and throughout this whole series, but also just to ground yourself in your own and the power of one. I just love this. So thank you, Jilly.
I so appreciate that. And I mean, you've been with me right since the beginning anyway. You know, when I was talking into that, like, I can still remember you calling me after the first episode aired, and you said something to me that I will never ever forget because it gave me the confidence to keep going. You said to me that, you know, you have a talent that not everyone has, and that is the ability to keep talking for, you know, half an hour. I can easily do a solo 30-minute episode. And I didn't know that was something that I had a skill for. I didn't know that was something that not everyone can do. So as soon as you said that to me, it gave me so much confidence and it really bolstered me. And I think that really acted like a fuel for me to keep me going. And now podcasting comes so naturally to me now, and I love it. I really, really enjoy it. So I'm so glad I did keep going.
I'm so glad you did too. And look, audience at home, this is episode number 82. So I think by the time you get to 100 episodes, you have figured it out. And I just love this podcast. I know I'm biased because I'm on it and sometimes take it over, but I just want to say this one is really special.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate that.
You are so welcome. Back to you and your show.
Me. Thank you. I do really appreciate that. That's lovely. So back to you, actually, because last week we kind of covered off some bits of goal setting, but there were some bits that you, by your own admission, kind of went into a little bit of denial on and skipped over rather conveniently. And I'm not going to let you get away with that. You know that. So I was
newfound who dis. I can't hear you. You're breaking up.
Yeah, I don't let go away with anything. We don't let either. Actually, this is as a side note. This is what happens when you do develop a very close relationship with a business bestie. It's why Rebecca and I are always telling everyone that you need this person in your life, because we don't let each other get away with things. We know when each other are pulling a bit of wool over the eyes, and we don't. In a loving way, we make sure that we're always held to account. So I'm so hoping that you have now been doing work on this gorgeous planner. Love it. Let's put a link to that in the show notes.
It is. The show notes are already set up and ready to go. Because I'm getting good, girl. I'm getting good at having the show notes in advance. Instead of saying we'll put them in the show notes and then me, waking up at 3 a.m. like, oh my God, that was 3 weeks ago. I still haven't done anything. So this is in the show notes.
Yeah, because it's part of a vision and goal setting bundle. So opt into that because then you can follow along with us.
Exactly right. I have been doing my homework. I'm reporting in that I have absolutely been doing my homework. The purple Sharpie is
purple Sharpie's out.
It's hot. It's hot. That's how much it's been working. It's hot.
Oh, I have my purple Sharpie ready today.
Oh, sure. You had your purple Sharpie ready today.
You sent me one once.
I know I did. Yeah, when you first back in the days when client gifts were more of a thing for me. They need to be back to be more. I know. I need to get back into it. Your Christmas client present is still in a box underneath this desk with the cookies in it.
I'm gonna have to wait till I come over for that.
I don't know. I'm gonna retry mailing them. For those at home, it's not because I'm tremendously lazy. It's because I shipped them last year and then they went all around the globe and came right back to my front door undelivered for you and for Becky. So they're just sitting there. They've got chocolates in them, cookies, books, your gifties. I know. I gotta get my act together and try it again.
Yes, please. Send them to me again.
I will do.
You'll probably re-gift them to someone else, but
no, I will not, because I've already told you guys about them, and I can't be like, and then I got you my favorite thing, and it's so wonderful, and it wasn't cheap, and then I'm gonna give it to someone else.
And now I give it to someone else. Right. Enough stalling. Come on, homework.
Okay. What would you like? Where would you like me to start? Where would you like me to start? I'm ready.
I want you to share with everyone what was a challenge for you last week, because there was a bit you skipped, and I'm intrigued to know. I'd love you to share what that was and whether you've managed to go back and backfill that now.
Live stream audience. What I miss is the business model. That's what I missed. And it wasn't by design, but I also think it was a Freudian slip, which is when you say one thing but mean your mother. So I slipped on that business model. I've given a lot of thinking about it as well. And, it's not comfortable or fluffy or shiny to admit to the YouTube or LinkedIn audience that, one, I think that because the trajectory of my life that has thrown me kind of in these, I don't know, I guess would say relationships or kind of systems, as a woman, as a mother, etc., in which I'm constantly in reactive mode, and personally, and also, I'm making some growth. I'm doing some growing, you guys. I'm doing the work, but also in my business where it's reactive. If you looked at me and said, how do you like your business? There's so much to love about it. I absolutely adore my clients. I remember when, clients, there'd always be at least one or two problem client experiences. And I'd get together with my business bestie, and I'd be like drinking the drinks and talking the talk about what was difficult about a client relationship. And over time, I've been able to eliminate, any misalignments between me and a client, and like the work is chef's kiss. It goes along so very well, but I'm still reactive. I get a lead, I react to it, I set up a call, I react to it, I do the discovery meeting, I react to it, I put for the proposal, I react to it, I get the job or I don't get the job, and then I do the work. That's all reactive. Like it happens to me. The world outside is happening to me. And I think part of that, like limiting belief or kind of limiting mindset, is around having a codependent relationship with my business, in which I'm obsessed with what it's doing, but I'm over my own needs, And I think some of that, again, spills over from my kind of being a wife, being a mother, being a woman in America, doing this, doing that, in which it's very easy to slip into a modality in which you're in reactive mode. You have some codependency issues that you're walking through. And also the biggest struggle for me and Jilly was to actually declare goals. There's just was something around that where I was like, I don't get goals. I just work hard. I don't have goals other than to finally get out of survival mode. That's my only goal, was to get out of survival mode. And so to declare goals was difficult because I keep looking around like, why goals aren't what I do. I just work. In response and reaction to clients. So those were my struggles with it. Audience at home, you're doing the work and going on this solo retreat and crawling through the glass. I think looking what you're avoiding or what seems like a totally foreign concept will reveal a lot about your relationship with yourself, with what you deserve, and with your business. But I did still get there and wrote some things down. And look, girl, I answered the business model question.
I am so proud of you. I mean, I think what you've just said is going to resonate with so many other people. You are not the only person that struggles to set goals. And part of that, in my experience, particularly and this is a very common goal, I want to get out of survival mode. That's my only goal. That's all I want, is to survive. Thrive, forget that. I just want to survive. And the problem with that as a goal is that people who have that as their goal are also very used to not hitting goals. They're used to not setting goals, and they're used to not hitting goals. So guess what? If your goal is just to survive and you have no intention of even hitting that goal, guess what's going to happen? Nothing's going to change. Nothing's going to change. You're on the struggle bus. So I think it's really common, and I'm so grateful to you for sharing that so openly, because you are just one of so many people who have that mindset that there's no point in me setting a stretching or what feels like unrealistic goal, because right now all I want to do is survive. But there's a definite mindset shift that needs to take place there, because guess what? The byproduct, the simple no-brain byproduct of aiming higher and genuinely taking the steps you need to take to hit a higher goal, the byproduct of that is survival. The byproduct of that is not just surviving, it's going to take it up and above that level. So
from
that's
your
just
lips, from your lips to
about.
God's ears, Jilly.
Always, God listens to me every day. He listens to heads together. Yeah,
I see. I would have said she.
Oh, see, that's how indoctrinated I am by the patriarchy. There we go. In my head, it's still an old man with white hair.
My dad used to say, and the good Lord, in her infinite wisdom.
That's a great one. I like that.
Yeah, he had some good ones.
Yeah. So come on, share with us what that thought process led you to. So healthy thought process, what did it lead
Okay,
you to?
and again, I wouldn't even be surprised if I completely still skirted the assignment and wrote kind of this, big picture thing that doesn't actually answer the question, which is my signature move, which is avoidance, I think, which is why I'm starting to think like you're kind of codependent with your business right now. Like, you're avoidant and you're obsessed with what the business does above your own needs. But here's what I have, and I hope this answers the assignment, because I really need my gold star. Okay.
I know you do. Come on.
Stone Fruit is a coaching/consulting business that provides one-of-a-kind clients with one-of-a-kind business advice, tactical direction, and personality-driven copy. And then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ways we make money or offers. A retainer arrangement, solve business problems month to month until you are living the brand. A one-off, determine deliverables and chunk them off until everyone is satisfied. Business in the Raw at Home Edition, which is a 12-week coaching program. Build a brand from the ground up in 3 months or less. A welcome sequence, which is just like one of my jams, baby, an email welcome sequence. And a LinkedIn makeover. And I have pricing for all of that. I don't know if that completes the assignment, but I'm hoping that I'm getting closer.
So, 2 things. It's not the goals. It's not the reputational goals that I want to, but it is filling in the business model part of that vision statement that we did at the beginning.
Yeah, that's where I was backtracking to. Sorry, Jilly.
Right. So that it totally fills that in. And when we come to our next episode, so we're going to miss a couple of weeks, but our next episode on the 2nd of November is you have just read out for me such a beautiful starting place for that episode. I'm so happy, because that is the first time I've heard you really give me a list of the offers that you want to sell. And I believe you want to sell those offers. I really believe that those are the ones. Every single thing you read out there, I was like, yes. Oh my God, yes. Definitely. I mean, I have to make sure you haven't just hoodwinked me with some clever words, because obviously that is what you're very good at. Thankfully, that's what people bloody pay you to be good at.
Hoodwinked.
Hold on.
Hoodwinked again. I did write them, and I wrote pricing and everything. I did write these down, and there are more. Like, I could put together a website copy offer very easily. That should probably be on there, because it's pretty cut and dry how I will chomp through website copy.
That's what we're going to go into in week 4. We're going to really dive into those offers, the pricing, whether there's some offer gaps, what the value ladder is of those offers, what's the journey it takes someone who is an ideal client for you on, where do they enter at, where do they go up to, what are the aspirational offers, what are the no-brainer offers, What's the bread and butter offer? So I'm excited now to do that, because I think you've now, in that part of your vision, you've really doubled down on that and got that clear. When you did that, did it give you any more clarity around that, the reputational part of your goals? Do you remember last time I was saying to you, or you were saying actually, that one of the goals was to write a book?
I have my reputation piece filled out.
Have you done it? Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
I've absolutely done it.
I will stop
Okay.
talking. Fantastic. Okay,
All
fill us
right.
in on that, because that way we close our loops on the vision and the goals.
Okay. I've published a business book. I've written a memoir. I've gained a notable audience on Substack. Well, Substack. I have a signature presentation that I give, like a talk, a signature talk. Paint the picture. What does being a thought leader mean to you? Is that something that you aspire to? Describe in detail how you want to be perceived by others. What do you want your clients to say about you? I want my clients to say, this is a Rebecca thing, whenever no one in the room can think of a way to do it differently. She is a champion for owning your own means of production, and she keeps me energized. They all say, every single one of them, currently, not my vision or my goals, but right now, I hear every day, I always feel, right now, I hear every day, I always feel so energized after I talk to you, or I always feel so motivated after I talk to you. That's the thing that I want them to say about me. So I hope I got that assignment, because I want 2 gold stars today. I'm not going to be happy.
That is your second gold star.
Yes.
For anyone listening in the UK, she just got a Paul Hollywood handshake on the Great British Bake Off.
I get that reference.
Really? Oh my God.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, that was a Paul Hollywood handshake.
Oh my God.
That is 2 gold stars, because those are right now. Think about what the purpose of setting a goal is, that you work back from it. Every single one of those goals that you mentioned. So the tangible goals, the book, the business book, the memoir, the Substack, the signature talk. Every single one of those goals can go into a calendar. It can have the micro tasks put to. What's the first micro task for building a really big engaged audience on Substack? Create a Substack account. Do this, do that.
Yeah.
Start, create a content calendar, etc., etc. And this is goals in action. This is taking a goal and then working back from it. You want a signature talk, okay? What's the first step for that? What do you need to do first? Is it to schedule a whole afternoon in your calendar where you're going to brainstorm the topic and the angle? Or is it to buy Chris Anderson's book called TED Talks, the official TED Guide to Public Speaking? Highly recommend. So straight away, once you've got those goals in place, and this is the same with your financial goals, same with your reputational goals. If you have a financial goal that you want $300,000 in your bank account by the end of the year, what does that mean in terms of quarterly income? What does it mean in terms of monthly income? How many clients represent that sum of money? How many of your signature offer do you need to sell to hit those numbers? What are the monthly fluctuations you might expect? So straight away, you can start projecting numbers against that goal and monitor progress towards that goal. Sorry, I'm going to cough. And same with your lifestyle goals. If you've got a lifestyle goal, which is, I want to take the whole month of August off every single year.
I did do it.
You've done it. Oh my God.
I did do it. I did this. I did the money one, and I did the reputational one.
Yeah. Well, you shared those with.
One.
Yeah. I mean, and this is the thing, isn't it? It's like, once you're clear on what they are, you can set those micro goals in place to get to hit them, to know what they are. And I just want to say to you about the whole I just want to survive goal. Can you see now that you've done this exercise, if you don't have any of that stuff in your head as a goal, can you see how you have no chance of even taking the first beginning's tiny action towards it? Because nothing will change.
Yes. Here's what I've learned from my wonderful client, Jennifer Thornton, 304 Coaching. I love to quote her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That in human development, you go through, kind of this, advancement, shall we say. And there are, stages that are more, I don't want to put this in a linear perspective, but there are, kind of stages of development. The reactive state is where about 70% of us stay. And that is that things are happening to me. So that reactive state of being in survival mode, just kind of, I get a lead, I respond to it, I either close the deal, I don't, I do the work, and I move it on. That's reactive mode. Creative mode, in which only 20% of us, actually, doing the numbers, 20% of us live, is where the world is happening, but I control my reaction to it. It's such an elevated state of being, of attracting, in my case, attracting business in which I'm not just putting out fires all the time, but instead in this kind of elevated modality of creativity where, America is a dumpster fire of late stage capitalism, but it's not devastating me because I don't have to react to it. I can control my reaction. And so the goals, I think, in this framework are the first step of being in creative mode rather than in reactive mode. And I also want to comment that I think it's very interesting, and I didn't notice that until I read these up to you, that I didn't put anything about being a digital media content creator at all, even though that's what I've been doing for the last year. Isn't it interesting that the roll-up is not on here?
That's really interesting. I have a theory about that, though.
Is it because it really goes under marketing? ?
Although
this is reputation.
I think I have a theory as to why you haven't included it. Because you enjoy it and it doesn't feel like work. Because to you, work, or certainly the business development, you love the work you do with your clients. That's a given. I know that you love that. But the work around business development, generally speaking, is not your favorite thing to do, or hasn't been your favorite thing to do. So you associate that whole piece with the bit that you don't particularly like or haven't particularly liked and have been struggling to get to, because when you're in that survival mode, you struggle to get to it. Whereas the digital media stuff, you are so good at, it comes so naturally to you, and I think you actually enjoy doing it. So it almost is a given to you. I wonder if that's why you haven't included it.
That's so interesting. I do think of it as work, but you know what I think of the work is like, order the episode art, schedule it in StreamYard, write the description,
all the stuff you
put the things, all the stuff I want Kathleen to do. That feels like the work part. But like even today when we were getting ready for this thing, and I was like, hey, do you have the banners queued up? Did you share it on LinkedIn enough? Do you have this going? Do you have that? And it came to the point where it's like 10 minutes before the show where there isn't any more of that like work to do. And I just had I was like, now I just have to do the show, which so many other people find to be the hard part. And I'm like, now all I have to do is just do the show, man.
The show is the best bit. It's the easy bit.
Yeah, the work is like the admin stuff.
Yeah. So I would love to see goals around that, really. Goals around the support, the level of support you want in the business, I think is going to be an important goal for you.
Oh my God, you're so exactly right, because that's really where I see the team building happening is around this digital content. Yeah. I've got my strategy fingers on.
Ooh, okay, I'm excited to get to that. However, we can't even begin to think about strategy until we have done something very important.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God.
I know, it's time. We're doing it.
Okay.
We
I'm here.
are people at home moving into positioning.
Dun, dun, dun. My favorite topic.
That's the wrong one. That's the right one. Yes, positioning. Rebecca's and my favorite topic. And like I said to you at the beginning of this episode, this is where I have the imposter syndrome because, like, you know, Rebecca taught me everything about positioning. So I was thinking, you know, how do I want to do this? Do I want to just kind of hand over to take the easy way out and hand over to Rebecca now and just say, Rebecca, tell us what your positioning is. And I thought, you know what? No, that is not what I want to do, because that would be very easy for me. And not so as easy for Rebecca, because what we have learned is that positioning is something that is pretty damn tough to do on your own. This is something where I think there's a lot of work in your business. If you listen to that episode 82 of the Heads Together podcast that Rebecca was mentioning earlier, there's a lot of work that it's essential to do on your own, I believe. But actually, positioning is something that is hard to do on your own. Rebecca has worked with me to position everything I've ever done in my business, and I've worked with her on positioning for different things in her business before, because you just need that two-way dynamic. So I was going to get Rebecca as well to tell you what positioning is. I'm not going to do that either. I'm going to tell you what positioning is. And on this one, I want the gold star afterwards, because if I've got this right, it means that you have done a really good job of teaching me this topic. So positioning is, who do you serve? Sorry, I'm going to start that again. Right. Positioning is a positioning statement is a single sentence that answers the following questions. Who do you serve? What do they need? Who are you? What do you deliver? And what makes you special, different, or the one? How did I do?
I feel like I'm watching you ride your bike for the first time. I've pushed you off. Who are your people? What do they need? Who are you? What do you deliver? Why are you special, different, or the one? You nailed it, girl.
Nailed it.
You nailed it, girl. You nailed it, girl.
I won't drop the mic because that would be really annoying for whoever has to edit this time. But it's a ruler drop. It's a ruler drop moment.
Excellent.
So if we are going to position stone fruit, I would love it though if you would just, because you are the best person to explain this to us. What makes positioning so important?
What a question. It really, positioning really is the articulation of who, what, why, when, where, and how, which are essentially the questions that you need to be able to answer to communicate with anybody about your business, about what you do and what you offer. So often we get really mired in our resume of like, oh, well, we've been making t-shirts for 15 years. While that's factually accurate, it's certainly not anything that gives me anything I can sink my teeth into, anything that I can latch onto, something that I can believe in, something I can see myself and project myself in needing. And, you know, let's just face it, like everybody and their brother has a business. Everybody and their brother has, you know, either a branding business or coaching business. It's difficult to stand up and be instantly recognizable if you can't answer who are our people, what do they need, who are we, what do we deliver, and why are we special, different, or the one. I still struggle with what do we deliver. I mean, that's a really difficult question to be able to answer when I don't know, when you're just so in it, I guess. But if you can answer those, there's nothing you can't do to communicate. Your website, who are my people? Articulate that. Who exactly are your people? What are they exactly like? Not just like, well, it's for anybody who has an iPhone. Is it? Is it Sally? That's what we're doing now. Is we're saying it's for people or for everybody? You have to get extremely nuanced and deep about the answers to these questions. And when you do, you're instantly understandable. Hopefully, if you do the work in a way, the more you put into it, the more people have something they can believe into, they can latch onto. And so for me, positioning is the process and the key to really creating a unique kind of like, coordinate point on the business, on the map of the business arena. It's just like kind of where you are uniquely in the world. I am for these kind of people who have these kind of problems. I bring this kind of thing to the table. We deliver it this way. And therefore, we are uniquely like no one else. And the reason we exist is this. If you can do that, to me, that is the way that you can effectively create a brand for yourself that you can step into, live, embody. Brand is your reputation brought to life in words, actions, and images. If you don't know your reputation, how on earth are you going to bring it to life?
Absolutely. I mean, you just articulated that so beautifully. Yes, Sharpie drop moment. Something that just came up for me when you were saying that was, and I tell this to clients all the time. So, well, two things that came up for me. One is that people call it niching down, whatever you like to call it, when you get real clarity on really who you serve. I coach a lot of other coaches, and one of the things I urge my clients to do is to make a decision about who you get the best results for and focus in on those people, create the offers those people want, share them in the way that those people are going to best receive them. So that, for me, that's that starting point that comes when you've got clear positioning, isn't it? And the other thing I love, because I'm quite visual, so when you did that, I was picturing, like Tom Cruise in Minority Report, when he's got that like really sci-fi kind of thing, and you've got this point on it and everything else is feeding into it, and that becomes the exact coordinate. I suddenly realized that is just the perfect metaphor for something that I tell my clients all the time, and that is that if you are radically authentic and claim your own unique place, coordinate in the market, you have no competition.
You said that today. You said that today on this episode of the podcast, Heads Together. You said that today, and I was like, record scratch. You have no competition.
Like I really think it. and it's so simpatico. So true.
And it's so simpatico with the way that I work, which is to come to the process of positioning with being as mildly influenced by the outside as possible. So I'll have a new client, let's just say a new person, and they're coming and I'm doing positioning. I will not look at their website. I will not look at their LinkedIn. I will try and ignore their emails, that are marketing emails. I try and insulate myself as much as possible so that I can create those coordinates within a vacuum. And that way they are absolutely unique and authentic. I'm not influenced by the outside world. And I want to be like that in the larger scale.
Okay. What a great place for us to go into your positioning then. Because I think that you've just made it so clear to people listening why positioning is so damned important. And this is my turn to blow smoke up your ass for a minute, because when you have over the years positioned things that I've done, it has changed the game for me every single time. It's the thing, and because you've taught me so well, I can to a certain extent start the process on my own now. So as soon as I have an idea for something new, I can go straight to my positioning as an entrepreneur, the positioning of my business, is this aligned with those two positionings for a start? You know, is it really going to be something that my ideal clients want or need? Preferably both. You know, what does it actually deliver? I automatically run through that positioning process in my head. So I just have to thank you for that, because it is a complete game changer in business. And for anyone listening, if you are not selling as much of your thing as you want to be selling, you probably somewhere back have a positioning issue. Because I believe that without positioning, no amount of marketing will work. And I'm happy to stick a stake in the ground on that. You can be the smartest, most clued up marketer. You can know how to construct the most complicated and sophisticated funnel. But if you don't have your positioning crystal clear, you're wasting your time. Don't bother marketing your business if you're not clear on your positioning. There's no point. So I think I hope that we've rammed that home.
I would also add to that and say that if you are, if you just realize that you sound like everybody else came out of, you know, Marie Forleo's B School, and everyone sounds like that. It becomes, you just recognize that the only way you can really grow is to differentiate yourself, and 100%. To stop sounding like everybody else. And I know that's all the thing. That's what all the copywriters say. It's like, stand up like a meerkat and a massive mediocre, which is my line, so I can make up for it. I can make fun of it. However, it truly is the way that people can create an emotional connection to you. If you sound like everybody else, it's very hard to create an emotional connection. And that's really where brand stickiness comes in, is that you're giving them a reason to care. And because you know who they are and you know the problems that they're facing every day, the reasons to care are just a matter of articulation throughout this process. Avoiding my own by talking about how great they are.
Right. Hold on, folks. I may just have to reach in through the camera and pin her down a minute, because we are now going into positioning of your business.
Yes. Why am I nervous? Why am I nervous about it?
Are you?
Yeah, because it's hard and it's painful. It is hard and painful.
It is hard and it is painful.
I'm going to try not to cry.
I know. It is tough. Do you want to start with positioning of Rebecca Gunter, or shall we go straight into positioning Stone Fruit? That's the first question I have for you.
I think because the name of this episode is Positioning Stone Fruit, that's where we should start.
I think so too. And we have positioned you as, absolutely. And you have done positioning, and we have talked about positioning of Rebecca Gunter before as well. So I feel like it is Stone Fruit that we really want to, we are rewilding Stone Fruit after all, like you say. So let's thinking through that Stone Fruit lens then. Who do you serve?
Entrepreneur types. And by that, I mean their personality is one of great risk and also great reward for more than just themselves. I'm not a great fit with the play it safe types. So if you are the kind of person who's disruptive, maverick, swim upstream, your way and the highway, a problem solver, taking a unique position, and that's not positioning, but taking a unique position or having a unique soapbox or an unpopular opinion, you are my people. You've been in business generally at least 3 years. You know, it's not generally my people aren't trying to reinvent themselves after 100 years. They're trying to pivot into who they really, really are. And it took them at least 3 years of kind of painful, negotiation with themselves to recognize that they haven't had the courage yet to, fully articulate and declare who they are. So,
that was me.
Problem children.
Yeah. Would you go as far as say that your ideal clients are pretty opinionated?
If they're not opinionated,
and I don't see that as a, I'm not saying that in a derogatory way. I don't think it is derogatory. I'm opinionated. You're opinionated.
If they're not opinionated, what do I have to write about?
Right. Are they quite rebellious?
More power. Yeah, more power to you. If you're not, I would say try and tell one of my clients they can't do something and see what happens. Mm-hmm. The people who I'm really simpatico with. In fact, I'm like a co-conspirator or a co-creation of them doing the thing everyone said they shouldn't or couldn't do.
Oh, hang on. That's really interesting. I want to pull on that thread a bit for a minute. So a co-conspirator for people who are used to hearing, that's unrealistic. It's not done.
No one does it that way.
No one does it that way. That's not how it's done. That won't work.
Why bother?
Try that. That's not appropriate. Right? The people who are used to hearing that, those are the people who need to work with you.
Agreed 100%. Agreed 100%.
Yeah. I'm getting a really good image in my mind.
Are you?
I think most people, what's really interesting about you, I believe, is that most people struggle with this part. They struggle with the behaviors and thoughts and feelings of their ideal clients. I think you have that nailed. The bit
with your help, with, to be fair.
The bit that I think you struggle with, which other people tend to find easier, is the attributes. So this is maybe not the attributes is the wrong word, but the kind of factual stuff about them. What do they do for a living? Where are, all of that kind of stuff. And is that deliberate? Is it because you don't care about any of that stuff?
I don't care about any of that stuff because my niche, when we say niche down, for me, I don't have a particular industry or kind of person specifically that I like to work with. I just need this kind of rebellious disruptorness to them. You could be an accountant, you can be a leadership coach, you can be a 16-room boutique hotel, you can be someone who makes jerk sauce and bottles it, you can be, literally anything, and I'll have fun in that space and be able to give you a brand voice that's like no other. And that's really the gift, is a brand voice, but without talking about it as like guides or voice of the customer. I can give you that voice, but you have to be someone who is very swim upstreamy. You've got to be. You've got to just be used to being told no.
I almost think it would be slightly. It'd almost be an oxymoron for you to say that you do what you do, and then to say, and I only work with female business coaches, because it would almost be like, oh, but hang on, surely then all female business coaches that work with you are gonna, like, there's gonna be a kind of, I don't know. I think with
the thread. Sorry, Jilly. I think the thread there.
Stop. We got a delay. Sorry.
The thread there for me is not women business owners, but there is an alignment with me with disenfranchised populations, because I have an axe to grind. I have an axe to grind about making people, or help making. I have an axe to grind about helping people who generally are dismissed get heard. Like women, neurodivergent, multicultural. Like, if you are not mainstream, whose ideas are just taken like, oh, well, you're a man, that's a great idea. then I'm the kind of person who wants to really do whatever I can to help you get either equal footing or footing where the mainstream is irrelevant. So while I say, yeah, I don't niche myself like women only, but I am attracted to people who traditionally are not listened to, whether it's their ideas or just kind of their role in the hierarchy of society, where I kind of have a we'll show them attitude. We'll show them. Stick with me, kid. We'll show them.
So, oh God, I love that. Stick with me and we'll show them. I think that's that. Like, let's come back to that. Let's put a pin in that one. Because something you just said about people whose ideas are not necessarily automatically listened to. This is a big one, isn't it? Because if you're talking here about people with strong opinions, people who really want to have a voice to get out there, and yet they have an extra hurdle that isn't just the fact that they're breaking new ground or doing something in a different way, but they have perhaps an extra layer of complexity in getting their ideas out there. They're really in your sweet spot.
Yeah, baby. If no one's listening to you, come sit by me.
If no one's listening to you, come sit by me. Right?
Yeah.
You realize you're going to have to pull all of these things out for when your homework of creating the actual positioning statement.
I know. Let's acknowledge the comments, shall we? Tony is here. He must have heard us talking about making his job more difficult when we talk over each other. He wants to know how we can neither go too broad nor too narrow in the Who Are My People section.
That's a really good question. Do you want to take that one or shall I take that one?
We can both offer our opinions. Again, Tony, I think that it's around looking for the golden threads that weave amongst the folks who really turn you on. So earlier, Jilly was talking about, kind of being, in my words, paraphrasing, kind of a jack of all trades, and how positioning can narrow that down. There's an interesting situation that I'm, for some reason, have a gift of, is taking kind of these disparate, like, open threads and finding a theme or commonality around it. I mean, I'm sure it's around my autistic pattern recognition, but that allows me to find ways in which they have in common that are otherwise unseen. A perfect example is I've been working on positioning with a woman who has a number of programs, and some of these programs are for corporate high-level leaders, and some of these programs are for CEOs and founders and entrepreneurial types, and that's two different pieces of language. And so how does she, speak to one without the other one thinking, well, she's not talking about me, and vice versa? And that has been the work of finding what kind of leaders are we making here, whether they're in an entrepreneurial space or a corporate space or, leader of their church group or whatever. So by focusing on the kind of leaders we're creating, it allows us to not go too broad with anybody in a leadership position, or too narrow in entrepreneurs, or what I affectionately call corporate defectors, people who are kind of leaving that space and coming over. So in that way, you can prevent being too broad or too narrow or too wide by finding commonality amongst your people. Jilly, your answer.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose I agree with you to a point. And yes, and I guess is my answer. So yes to that. And I think we need to be clear about why we encourage, as a business coach, why I encourage people to niche down. And it's for a couple of reasons. So the biggest reason is because to have a really outstanding business, you need to deliver outstanding results to your clients. And to deliver outstanding results, quite often you need to be a specialist in serving those people, because a generic offer won't get the same fantastic results as a nuanced, bespoke, designed perfectly for you offer. It's exactly the same reason why one-to-one services are more expensive than group service. Take coaching industry. One-to-one coaching is far more expensive than a group coaching, generally speaking. And it's for that very reason that, you know, the offer in a one-to-one scenario can be very bespoke. So for me, niching down, that's one of the reasons, is that it gives you the opportunity to create offers just for those people that are exactly what they're looking for. The other reason, or another reason, is that if you don't niche down, you make your marketing so hard. So hard. How do you craft that "are you inside my head" kind of messaging if it's just for anyone? The more niche you go, the easier it is to create messaging that has people thinking you're talking directly to them. So, but there is that balance to it, because go too narrow and you're doing yourself, your own business, your own growth, your own experience of your business a disservice. It can actually become too commoditized almost, because you've gone so narrow that you are actually, your messaging is just, there's very little variation to it. You're selling the exact same thing all the time because it's the exact same thing that person wants, you know. So it's totally a balance, and I think we all know when we've got it right, because our messaging starts to really hit home and our sales increase. So just speaking with a business coach hat on, you will know if your niche is too wide, because you won't get any engagement. You won't be getting on the phone with people. You won't be attracting the right people onto discovery calls with you. You know, those are all the symptoms of a business that isn't clear around who it serves. And that's why we do positioning.
I would just add that you can avoid that problem by positioning every single thing you do. Still need an umbrella, but you can really make sure that you're not, you know, alienating anybody by positioning every little thing. But once you know how to do the formula, then you can apply it anywhere.
Absolutely. And also, actually, just to Tony's point, there's another question that I get asked quite a lot, and that is, what if I want to serve two different niches? What if I want to serve two different kinds of clients?
That's that piece I was talking about earlier of riding two horses with one ass. How do you do it?
Yeah, how do you do it? And I think you just really nailed it there. It means that some of your content has to stay slightly more generic than you might want it to be in an ideal world. And that's not a good word to use, because I don't ever want anyone putting out generic content. But I think you take my point. You know, maybe it isn't as drilled down and nuanced all the time, but your offers can be. Your offers can be the exact things that those people want. And this is where your version of niching down, where it's much more about a mindset and an attitude, that becomes your niche. Those people might do lots of different things. Like you said, maybe an accountant, it may be a business coach, it may be a brand consultant, whatever it is. It's the offers that can be nuanced to different things. And I love marketing campaigns. So when we come on to that, and I'm sure we'll talk about that later, but different campaigns for different industries, perfect. It doesn't mean those are the only people you serve. The important thing is that they have the same mindset. They think in a similar way. The point you made about your skill in finding that commonality, that's the important part.
I would also add that another way to be able to serve more than one niche at the same time is to really drill down on your core values and use your core values as the reason that people work with you. And that way you can pivot into any arena you want. You're not stuck in like, oh, I only make t-shirts. But if your core values are, you know, kind of quality apparel that's, you know, not made in a sweat lab, and you've got, you know, messages of empowerment, and you have, you know, sustainable materials or whatever that is. If you lean in your values, it can be t-shirts, it can be sweatshirts, it can be towels, it can be, you know, banners. You can branch out of that. I think that's a very powerful way for people to be able to pivot on a dime, that instead of leaning in on your kind of 15 years of doing this, you're like, we stand for these things.
We stand for these things. That's such a great metaphor as the t-shirts, because also when you do that, you don't care who is buying them in terms of how old they are, what their gender is, where they live, all of those things, because those people are going to find you because of your values, because the content you put out, the marketing activity that you do is going to speak very loudly, because you are being confident and you're completely expressing those values, and that will make you stand out.
I love it.
So the who I'm pretty clear on, and I know that, you know, before next week you're going to go away and incorporate that into the sentence. So for enter your people, the next part of the sentence is who need. So those people that you were talking about earlier, what do they need?
Words.
Who need words? Perfect. Thank you. Move on to the next. Words.
I mean, essentially,
send them a bloody dictionary.
They need the words that are so right for them that they can internalize them and use them. So, yes, glibly, the words that are on your website, the words that are in your welcome sequence, the words that are in your LinkedIn profile. Absolutely. That's essentially what it boils down to. What are those words? What are those words? What are they? That is a process of stepping into an identity that many of us have not had the opportunity or the courage to embrace. And so what they need is someone to hold up a mirror to them, show them who they truly are, tell them the words that describe this, and then empower them to embody what those words are, so that they can make all of their digital footprint match that brand. And you disagree?
I still disagree.
Okay, fair.
But I'm being a little bit facetious and unfair and mean, because I don't disagree with any of that, but I don't think it's the right answer to the right question. It's the right answer to the wrong question, if that makes sense. Because
you're absolutely right. I just got fucking trapped by positioning. You're absolutely right.
Right.
Yes.
Now, can you just see that this is why you can't do it on your own? You can do this effortlessly and expertly for other people. You cannot do it for yourself. It's so hard to do it for yourself.
They don't need words. They need to be seen for who they are. They need to be seen for who they are. And the words facilitate that.
And they need to be heard. Remember, you want to be heard? Come sit by me. No one's listening. Come sit by me.
They need other people to see who they really are.
Correct.
And that also means they have to also see it, which is easier said than done.
Yeah.
I really fell into that trap. I fell into it. They don't need words.
Isn't
it
easy?
They need to be seen and heard. Yeah. Yeah, because we get stuck in what we deliver.
If there was another way of doing it, you would find that. If it wasn't words, maybe it might be. So I would love to give you a challenge of helping someone do that via the medium of mime. So that there were no words. But can you see what I mean? Because it isn't the words that they need.
Wow.
The words are what you deliver, and they're part of your process. Do you remember I said to you, the other thing that I think they need is so if we start up here, they need to sell what they do. Come down from that. They need their marketing to work. Come down from that. They need to be seen and heard for who they truly are, because that's the only thing that will make your marketing work. And that applies to all of us, to anyone. If you're not being seen and heard for who you really are, again, no amount of marketing is going to work. Hit stop immediately on your Facebook ads, your LinkedIn ads, your Google ads, your fabulously sophisticated marketing funnels, if you haven't done this positioning work that Rebecca and I are doing right now for Stone Fruit, because your marketing won't work. This is why positioning is so bloody important, and why, you know, we have to, with for Stone Fruit, find a way of packaging it so that people understand what they're buying when they buy positioning, because it's that fundamental. And you're the bloody queen of doing it. You do it like no one else.
I know, because I can see them like no one else does.
You can see them, yes.
Yeah, but you're so smart, because, you know, you're right. They don't need to be seen and heard as much as they need to sell their stuff, man.
That's what they need. They need sales. And if they want sales, they need their marketing to work. If they want their marketing to work, they need to be seen and heard. And that is about... So that encompasses everything. They need to understand who they really are, positioning. They need to start feeling confident enough to express it themselves before they even work with anyone else. Living it, they need to, you know, that's what you deliver. That's what Stone Fruit delivers. Via coaching, via positioning, whatever medium. We're not worried about what the Stone Fruit offers are that meet this need yet. All we know is that this company, this business, Stone Fruit, has to meet this need for people to be seen and heard, so their marketing works, so they sell their stuff.
So that they can own their own means of production, which is super important to me, and be a sovereign being, not dependent on a paycheck or a boss.
That's right, which is also important to you. Going back to own their own means of production, what do you mean when you say that? For anyone who doesn't,
I just, well, in capitalism, I think
the non-ranting version.
Yeah, well, I think that we live under a false sense of security when we work for someone else and do not own the way that we get paid. So, you know, in like economics, we talk about it as like owning the means of production. So to me, my highest priority is to own the way that I get paid. So currently, people hire me to coach them and to write for them. I own that. No one else owns that. So it keeps me in a sovereign state of being where I'm not dependent on whether or not my boss's 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 boss can sell something that I provide for a meager exchange of money. So to me, it's all about sovereignty.
So that sovereignty and owning your own means of production sits at the top of that pyramid that we just talked about. And to get to there, they need the sales. To get the sales, they need their marketing to work. To get their marketing to work, they need to be seen and to be heard. And that is their entry level to working with you. That's what Stone Fruit delivers. And I believe, because Stone Fruit isn't a full marketing agency, it's not a sales consultancy, but it is a be seen and be heard business. And I think, you know, we've just established that that is the foundation of getting them to where they want to be. So we know what they need. Stone Fruit exists to start them on their journey to getting there. Because if they work with Stone Fruit, then they can get the marketing in place to amplify what they've put in place.
I see it as like
generates the sales.
I see it as like we provide the food for your marketing mix. Like you already have a marketing mix on your own, and I can help you figure out what that is. But We're the ingredients therein. Like, we're not the marketing. We're not marketing itself. We're not marketing. We're the stuff you need to make marketing happen.
Right.
I don't know if that
And
makes
to be
sense.
honest with you, how many times have you heard me say, you know, marketing always works? Marketing always works. It's a matter of when. So I don't really care which marketing strategy people want to go with. If they've got this foundational stuff right. I don't really mind. If you like doing webinars, do webinars. If you love social media, immerse yourself in social media and that will work for you. If you like, if you hate being online and actually you love in-person networking, do that. Because if you've done this foundational work, you can make your marketing work because it will amplify the stuff that is right. If you haven't done this foundational work, your marketing will simply replicate the stuff that is wrong. And you'll have more of that.
You are so right. I think about my own clients. One of them thrives in long form thought leadership and articles, like 15 to 2,500 words every time. One of them thrives with 4, at a clip, like a weekly email that's on either, a subject they're passionate about or whatever. One of them thrives when we position each of their niches and that's their little thing. One of them thrives by doing this other thing. So it doesn't matter what the marketing strategy is.
Doesn't matter. I mean, there are always going to be some things that are more successful for different offers, different products, different niches, and all of that kind of thing. And so, of course, common sense says that you need to taper what you enjoy doing. If you love LinkedIn, but your clients, none of them are on LinkedIn, clearly that's not the right marketing strategy for you. So there's a bit of common sense has got to come in here. But essentially, the strategy you pick should be one that you enjoy executing, can do consistently and sustainably, because those two things are so important. Like we said about the podcast, if I'd have given up when after 4 months, when I was still recording episodes for about 10 downloads, I would never have got to where I am with it now. So I think it's really important just to remember that the marketing strategy is not the most important thing. The foundations of the marketing strategy, which is the positioning, is the most important thing. And some people will call that brand. I mean, in my opinion, positioning is probably the most important part of brand strategy. But yeah, positioning reigns supreme.
I couldn't agree more, but it's convenient for me too. I love it.
That's handy. So now we know what they need. What's stone fruit in that sentence? 4 opinionated, rebellious entrepreneurs who need to own their own means of production, hit their goals financially, reputationally, and from a lifestyle perspective, who need the marketing to be able to do that, and therefore who need to be seen and heard, which is where stone fruit comes in. Who's stone fruit?
I mean, we really get stuck here, which is the most straightforward part of a positioning statement. It is a coaching and consulting company, essentially.
Perfect. Full stop. Move on. That's what it is. It's a coaching and consulting company. Because
I'm so glad you're happy.
I'm so happy with that. And I think it's actually a coaching and consulting company plus, because you do deliver assets, which a lot of coaches
co-op coffee shop
don't.
Co-op coffee shop.
The co-op coffee shop. I still feel like that's got legs. I still love that idea.
I think me too.
I think it's 2.0. But
agreed.
But essentially, it's a coaching, consulting, and copywriting business. That's what stone fruit is.
I accept.
Would you agree with
that?
Would you agree with adding the copywriting in?
I would, because otherwise, what is it?
Well, you could decide you're not going to actually deliver any assets anymore.
You gotta be kidding me.
Other than to private clients,
Well, I could definitely see
But
that being a possibility as long as mommy still gets to write, because boy, do I love it.
I love that too, but I think in terms of revenue streams, it would be leaving a lot of money on the table for you, for Stone Fruit as a business, to not have a copywriting service that people can tap into, because the type of people that are going to be attracted to Stone Fruit do not have a ton of options in terms of people who would be capable of providing them with the kind of copy they want.
Plus, it's so fun.
That's what. Plus, it's so fun.
And not just for me, for copywriters who love to write copy. It is so fun. I'm a blast.
So now I feel like what you deliver is going to be a hell of a lot easier to answer now.
Well, words, ideas, and motivation. Question.
That's so strange, because when you answered the question of who are you, you gave a really full description of what you deliver. And now I'm asking you what you deliver.
That's how positioning is, everybody. That's how positioning is.
Honestly, and you're getting a potted version of it here, because positioning is a very in-depth conversation. And also, can I just highlight again the fact that I'm not the expert in this? Rebecca asks way better, more probing questions than I do. So if you think I'm giving her a hard time, I'm really not. I'm trying to replicate the way she does it, because it's so effective.
You're doing a great job, Jilly. You're doing great here.
Thank you.
Yeah, I will just give you a warning that I really only can be on this live stream for another few more minutes before I have to jump to another one.
I know, but that's perfect, because I don't even want us to go to why you're different, special, or the one, because I want that to be the surprise reveal on the
that's
2nd
always a
of
good
November.
One.
Yeah.
We definitely deliver. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, for sure.
Yeah, so I was just going to say that on the 2nd, that's when we're going to do. That's it. Yeah. So, no, that next one.
Nope. Yep.
Model.
It's just a day.
Yeah. So for this one, week 4, this is on the 2nd of November. This is when we're going to, again, close the positioning loop at the beginning, like we did this time with the goals. We closed that loop at the beginning. On the model and pricing episode, we're going to close the loop on positioning. Rebecca's going to do the reveal of her full positioning statement that we've almost got to today. And actually, I feel like we could wrap now and wait for that kind of what you deliver and what makes you different, special, or the one, when you reveal the final statement on the 2nd at the beginning of that show. Because once we have that in our grubby little mitts, can you then see how that feeds perfectly into your business model and your pricing? Because only when you've nailed your positioning can you have any inkling of the exact offers that are perfect for your ideal clients. Until you've done your positioning and know who your ideal clients are, what they need, and what you need to deliver to them at a higher level, can you then go in and actually figure out what the exact offers are that need to sit inside your business that will deliver on those promises. And everyone's nemesis, pricing.
I feel kind of good about pricing. I feel like I have a good handle on that one. So I don't know. Maybe
you have a good money mindset, to be fair.
That's shocking to hear,
sometimes.
but thank you. Like, Jilly, you're being so generous with my money mindset. You're right. Sometimes, and
honestly,
sometimes not.
I think you do.
Pricing is one of those things
that's like
where
all of us, though. I have a good money mindset sometimes and sometimes not.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to getting into it. And I'm looking forward to expanding on the that delivers part and sharing with you what I come up with. I'm also excited to see you next week, next Thursday, as we're celebrating 1 year Stone Fruit. Whatever it is, we're celebrating 1 year.
That.
Yeah, as it's my birthday. It's my birthday on Sunday. And I launched this
happy
business.
Happy birthday for Sunday.
Thank you, darling. I launched Stone Fruit in conjunction with my birthday for a very specific reason, and that was just, about rebirth, shall we say. So this Thursday, a week from today, smash that like and subscribe button. Come back and see us. We're throwing a birthday party. I have no idea how I'm going to live stream a bunch of people celebrating a birthday party virtually, but we're going to do the thing and then come back on November 2nd. And Jilly's going to check my work, as it were, and then we're going to get into this business model and pricing. So, Jilly, I cannot thank you enough for dedicating such delicious time and being a part of what we do here. Anybody interested in working with Jilly, please go to the show notes. There's a link to applying for a free coaching session. That is a fully realized coaching session. She does not play. She does not give you only a taste of what she can do. The only question you'll be asking yourself at the end of that is, how do I get more? Jilly, tell the folks at home your website address.
It is gillmoakes.com. So it's Gill with a G, GILLMOAKES.com.
Get more of that Moakes magic.
There's lots of resources there. There's links to the podcast, and do grab the vision and goal setting bundle, because that is going to give you workbooks. It actually delivers like 5 workbooks that really take you through this whole process that we're doing at the moment. So do go and grab that.
Yeah. I'll put that up one more time so folks can see how truly robust this, even just the goal setting one is. Very, very good. Jilly, I love you. You're my bestie.
Thank you so much.
Of all the things. And I cannot wait to get back into it. And thanks for not making me cry on live stream this time. But you can still work on it for another 3 episodes.
Obviously. I mean, that's my goal.
Yeah. All right, Jilly. Say goodbye to people.
Everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you.